Yeah, so we gathered some questions, Maaike, on your presentation. So they are here in the Google document. And the first question that we got is, how different is your suggested method compared to micrometer? Are you familiar with it, or maybe some?
No, I'm not familiar with the micrometer. So
Okay.
it's interesting that somebody sent that information. I'll look it up.
Okay. Okay, that's and another question we had it's a little bit difficult to answer, maybe, but please define affordable. And so, if your affordable test method assessment.
Yeah. Okay. So we encountered the problem that if you want to see the effect of interventions on a building on mold levels in buildings, you need to measure in maybe 300 homes with mold and 300 without mold. So we were looking for a test method that that you can use on a large scale. That means that you need a test method that approximately costs €100.
Okay, thank you. And there's a question from Arnold. Is there evidence that health issues as a result of exposure to mold are increasing? Do you have any idea about that?
Well, this is exactly what is very difficult to research at the moment because there are so little exposure data. It's very hard to find a specific relation at the moment without the data being there.
Yes. And that's also the reason why you need an affordable test method to get the data. What is the time frame to develop affordable test methods? What is your foreseen time frame?
In my opinion, it starts with the detection method. If the detection method is developed, then still you need time to get devices on the market. To my feeling, the detection method development could be done in maybe 2 years. And then the time thereafter, I don't know. It depends a bit on when the market is willing and interested in the method and wants to put it on the market.
Thank you. You talk about in your presentation about chronic health effect. Is the acute health effect also something which is of significance?
That depends. I think acute health effects are of significance if you talk about infections. And maybe also with mycotoxins, I'm not sure. But for the beta-glucans, I think it's more the chronic effects that are relevant.
Okay. This is a question, it's a quite long question. I'd like to hear your thoughts on what health relevant thresholds mean exactly. Is the health impact of mold, the health effect of implication of mold very dependent on the level of sensitivity and duration of the exposure, among many other contextual, including age, gender, other health indicators, lifestyle, etc. What are your thoughts about that, Maaike?
Well, it is a reason why you really need a lot of exposure data because it will be very difficult to derive threshold values for the general public because of this very high differences in sensitivity to mold exposure on an individual level. So it's very likely that you have to discriminate between groups and then per group need a threshold value. And of course, for instance, in an elderly home or in a care, how do you call it, a care home, these thresholds could be lower than for residential places where less vulnerable people are living.
So we need a lot of data to give to get more insight on this.
Yeah.
Do we know if the health impact is always negative? Seems like this needs a very large cohort study.
It is said that exposure of young children to some microorganisms might be useful in their personal resistance against these materials. So yeah, also in nature, molds, fungi, let's say, are very useful organisms. So I would certainly not say that molds and fungi are only bad, but yeah, in the end, after people have grown up, then inhalation of mold residues is in fact mainly harmful.
Okay. There's a comment I think is really interesting. I wasn't not aware of that. In France, 50% of all claims against architects in France are due to mold grow. And for me, that's yeah, very interesting fact. Maaike, do you have to add something on that, or?
Yeah, the only thing that again, wouldn't it be nice if we had models also for architectures, for architects, where they could simulate their design of the building and see what the effect would be on mold growth, also with specific use scenarios.
Yeah, thank you. And this is a new one also for me. The scientists also suggest that psychiatric effects are also possible due to mold exposure. Do you have anything to add about that, Maaike?
No, I don't know. There are in literature really a lot of associations with mold exposure, and it's always the difficulty that it's really hard to prove this association. And this again is a reason why we think we need a more affordable measurement method to create more exposure data.
Okay. And there was a last remark about the example of a test kit. It's yeah, interesting for sharing, with also a link where we can look up what kind of methodology it is. So Maaike, very much thank you for the presentation, and then we go to the next speaker. Thank you, Maaike.